Hidden in my bathroom lies an abandoned fish tank. I want to restore this aquarium and turn it into a thriving ecosystem, complete with predators, prey, and even weird-looking fish. This is the story of my 5-gallon fish tank. Here's the game plan. I make it look like a real river, and then I simulate an ecosystem inside of it. So I need plants, rocks, and I want a massive piece of driftwood in the center. After I filled it up with water, it looked like this. Yeah, I know, it looks horrible. It's because I didn't spend any money on it. But the first inhabitants are going to be my baby guppies. The parents had about 25 babies, and I'm gonna put them all in there. They seem to be having a pretty good time. That is, until the apocalypse. A couple weeks ago I had added bladder snails into the tank. They eat the algae that grows on the sides of the glass, but they can also produce asexually, so I found eggs. But when will they hatch? A few days later I bought a plecostomus fish. They eat the grime on the sides of the glass just like the snails, but most of the time they do more harm than good, because they produce a lot of waste. I ended up relocating it into my larger tank, because it produced too much waste for a small tank. The bladder snails had taken over. Their eggs were all over the glass, and I needed a predator. The question is, which one? There's so many great options, but this one has claws to crush their shells, mandibles to tear at their flesh, and 10 legs to move around everywhere on the tank. So how about some viewer participation? Do you think it is a jumping spider, a red claw crab, or a crocodile? If you said red claw crab, you're correct. I had to do 2 things to prepare for its arrival. I had to add salt, and I had to add a land portion. I finally got her, and I'm naming her Rangoon. Whoa, not that kind! I put her in, and she instantly dove into the water and hid under the wood. I hope she eats the snails just like this blue crab did. All the bladder snails disappeared, but their eggs were still there. Overall, Rangoon did a good job. I added a small rainbow shark into this ecosystem because it was not doing well in its original environment. It also helped clean off some of the algae in the tank. The snails had re-emerged. They were everywhere, causing a population panic. They climbed out of the tank, and I had to manually push them in. They were all over the glass, and they were even chewing holes in my plants. I tried multiple methods to get rid of the snails. I tried feeding them to Rangoon. I tried outcompeting them with shrimp, and I even tried putting them up for adoption. I did get a few buyers though, but even after my countless attempts, those pesky snails would not go away. I finally decided it was time. The next day I bought an assassin snail. These guys are basically assassins of snails, hence the name. I tried to take a picture of the assassin snail while it was acclimating, but the shrimp photobombed it. I actually got footage of an assassin snail hunting down its prey. See that little red tube? That's called a radula, and it's basically their mouth. It does not use its eyes to track its prey down, but instead it uses a siphon, which is basically a nose. When it finds its prey, it will not stop at anything to catch it. It climbs up the glass, following the unlucky snail that will be its dinner. The little snail tries to defend itself by ramming its shell into the larger snail, but to no avail. The tankier assassin snail still drags on. The assassin snail zigzags about, unable to see well, and so it uses its siphon to sniff out its prey. The assassin snail slowly loses the bladder snail. Just as the bladder snail thought it was off the hook, the assassin snail stretched its muscular foot and encapsulated the smaller snail. They tussled for a few seconds before the smaller snail tried a final desperate attempt of tucking itself in its shell. The assassin snail delivers a fatal bite with its radula, and then cleans out the shell of the smaller snail within the course of a few hours. This is the last of the bladder snail's remains. I had went on vacation, and when I came back my tank looked like this. After having a full-on panic attack, I went to PetSmart and bought Mopani wood and a Corridora catfish. The wood puts tannins in the water, which is basically medicine for the fish, and the catfish cleans up the bottom of the tank. The next day I went to a creek near me and I got an Oregon floater mussel. These guys are basically living vacuums. They suck up any particles in the water. I even got a video of it moving around my tank. See that white thing? That's its muscular foot, just like a snail. Clams and mussels like this one are called bivalves, and this is because they have a two-piece shell. When the clam realizes it's safe for it to go out, it sticks its muscular foot out of its shell and starts digging. It pushes its foot into the substrate and then shovels out a mouthful of sand. It does this until it can go inside its pit and stick vertically out of the ground. They put their shells to very good use. As soon as something passes by, they tuck themselves inside. A few days later, I found microfauna, like this planktonic copepod in my aquarium. The baby fish were chasing it around and it was running away. After the ammonia explosion, all the shrimp died, so I introduced scuds into my aquarium. During my vacation, Rangoon had also died as she climbed out and dried up, but I needed someone to replace her, so this is where Nosferatu the vampire crab comes in. Nosferatu! When I put him in, he assessed his surroundings for a bit before finally deciding to take refuge between the rocks. Besides helping keep the snail population in check, Nosferatu would also help keep the isopod population in check. You see, I had added isopods to the land portion, and they had multiplied substantially. But he wasn't doing it alone, as I had also added a centipede into my tank. See those fangs? They're called toxicognaths, and they're actually modified legs used to inject venom into their prey. Unfortunately, I had a taste of those legs whenever it bit me. Everything is now balanced, and so the simulation ends. It has been a long journey with many obstacles, but I'm glad to say the result was worth the trouble.